poor rancher saved 2 giant Apache sisters. Next day their chief came with a shocking decision. Witness this unbelievable true inspired story right here on Whisper of the Past. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share where you're watching from. Let's get started. The sun burned low over the Arizona plains, painting the landscape in shades of gold and crimson. Eli McGraw, a poor rancher with little more than a weathered cabin and a modest herd of cattle, trudged along a narrow dirt trail behind his property. The wind carried the scent of sagebrush and dust, and the horizon shimmered with the promise of another sweltering day. Life on the frontier was harsh, but Eli's heart was uncommonly generous. He had learned that in a land so unforgiving, acts of kindness could be as rare and valuable as gold. As he rounded a rocky outcrop, a sudden cry froze him in his tracks. It was weak, desperate, and full of fear. Following the sound, Eli discovered 2 women trapped in an old hunting snare. Their clothes were torn, their faces smudged with dust and blood, yet even in their struggle, they carried the unmistakable pride of their people. Eli recognized them from whispers around town, the Apache sisters, known not just for their imposing size and strength but for their fierce spirit. Most men would have turned away, fearing trouble or reprisal, but Eli's instincts would not allow him to leave them. He knelt beside the snare, carefully loosening it, and looked up at the sisters with calm, steady eyes. "You're safe now," he said, offering a water flask. "You can rest at my cabin until you're strong enough to travel." They hesitated, their eyes wary and assessing. Years of mistrust between settlers and the Apache tribe had taught them caution. Yet hunger and exhaustion spoke louder than fear. Slowly, they allowed Eli to help them to their feet. As he led them along the rocky trail, he noticed the quiet dignity in their movements, the way they carried themselves with unspoken strength. Eli's simple gestures of care, offering water, helping them walk, seemed to chip away at the wall of suspicion they carried. The cabin was small and modest, its walls lined with tools and the faint smell of smoke and leather. Eli prepared a simple meal of dried meat and bread, careful not to startle the sisters. They ate in silence, exchanging glances but no words. As the sun dipped below the horizon, the sisters finally allowed themselves to rest, their breathing slowing as exhaustion claimed them. Eli tended the fire, reflecting on the risk he had taken. In this unforgiving land, aiding Apache women could invite suspicion or worse, yet he felt no regret. Doing the right thing had always been clear to him. By the first light of dawn, Eli had already saddled his horse to check on the herd. Returning to the cabin, he noticed a dust cloud rising on the distant trail. His heart tightened as he recognized the approach of a small band of riders. At their head rode a figure commanding immediate attention, the Apache chief. Tall and broad-shouldered, his presence exuded authority and respect. Eli's stomach knotted. The stories he had heard spoke of the chief's strict justice and unyielding strength. The warriors halted, and the chief dismounted, approaching Eli with deliberate calm. "I have heard of your actions," he said, voice carrying the weight of command. "You have aided my daughters when many would have ignored or harmed them. Such courage and kindness are rare among your people." Eli swallowed, unsure whether to feel pride or dread. I only did what seemed right," he replied, steady despite the tension. The chief studied him silently, pacing slowly. "In these lands, mercy is dangerous. It can bring honor or peril. Tomorrow, you will understand which path you have chosen." With that, he signaled to his warriors and rode away, leaving Eli to wonder what the next day would bring. The hours that followed were tense. Eli tended to his ranch as usual, yet every sound seemed amplified, the creak of the cabin door, the rustle of the wind through the sagebrush. He thought of the sisters, of the courage it must have taken for them to trust him, and of the chief's cryptic words. Night fell, the desert cooling, and the cries of distant coyotes punctuated the stillness. Eli sat by the fire, contemplating the chain of events his simple act of kindness had set into motion. At sunrise, the desert was eerily quiet. The ground trembled with the approach of horses, and Eli braced himself. The chief returned, this time alone, his expression unreadable. Eli followed him to a ridge overlooking the ranch, where the early sun cast golden light across the plains. I have seen much in my life, the chief began, voice softer now, almost reflective. Bravery is not only measured in battle but in moral choice. You have saved my daughters and shown compassion where many would not. For this, you are to be honored. Relief washed over Eli. He had prepared for confrontation, perhaps even punishment, and instead faced recognition and gratitude. The chief's warriors appeared behind him, bearing gifts, blankets, food, and tools, as tokens of respect. The sisters stepped forward, their eyes bright with warmth. One spoke in broken English, her voice steady and sincere. "Thank you, for saving us. We will not forget your heart." Eli nodded, feeling a connection that transcended fear and prejudice. In the vast, untamed West, bonds like these were rare and precious, forged not through conquest but through simple acts of humanity. The chief lingered for a moment longer, then signaled his group to depart, leaving Eli with a sense of awe and renewed purpose. Days later, the story of Eli and the giant Apache sisters spread through nearby settlements. People whispered about the rancher who had risked everything to do the right thing and earned the respect of even the feared Apache chief. Eli did not seek recognition, he understood that true courage lay in actions, not accolades. Life in the desert remained harsh and unforgiving, but Eli faced it with a strengthened heart, reminded that even in struggle, kindness could carve paths as enduring as any trail across the plains. And so, the tale of a poor rancher, two giant Apache sisters, and a chief's shocking decision became a story passed down across the desert, a testament to courage, humanity, and the enduring power of compassion in the Old West.